We're going? Yeah. Oh, cool. Hi, welcome to Weed, Wine, and Wheat Thins. Thanks for coming out and hanging out with us. If this is your first time, welcome. If you're a return viewer, what's up? So we're here today with Aaron Tesfaye.
Hey.
We're going to be talking about some fun topics, but first, let's go through his selections. For the weed portion, we actually have a hookah. A hookah is not weed, it's actually shisha or nicotine, and then you blow through the hose. And it's like flavored. What flavor would you say this is?
Watermelon?
Watermelon?
Blueberry?
Yeah, they have like fruity flavors, and yeah, they're really fun. And for his wine, we have a beautiful rosé. It's Cupcake Vineyards. If you want to sponsor us anytime soon, hit me up. And for our platter, we have, of course, wheat thins and cheese and crackers from Safeway.
It's hot.
It's hot out here. It's always hot out here, even when we shoot at different times. Do you want to pick the first topic from the bowl?
Yes. Ooh.
Which one?
How to make people feel like they belong. I've actually thought about this a decent amount, like in the past year, which is kind of weird. But like, okay, so in middle school, high school, I'd always be like, yo, I was that dude who was like trying to make sure people always felt like they were involved, like the new person who came to your school.
Is it like checking in, or like is there more like more inclusion you can actually do with that?
I moved to like my high school,
Yeah,
like pretty like far out of it. Like I just moved from the city to the county, and then I felt excluded. And then when people would come through, I would just try to include them.
Yeah.
But now, I feel less much of that, and now I'm just like, I just want to do me.
I sort of feel that too. I sort of feel that like in high school. I honestly may have been a little bit of a bully in middle school, but I feel like everyone was, so like it's fine. But like in high school, I was like, no, that shit's not cool. Like what's being cool is being nice, and like I feel like I had that mentality where I was always trying to help people feel that way and feel included, and I still do have that now, but I feel like especially since coming to college and sort of just realizing like self-care is like putting yourself around people that like you feel good around, like in high school I didn't always do that because like for different reasons, for whether it's like a popularity, social standing, just because like it's way smaller, like you've been with these people since like elementary school maybe, so you sort of just like do that. But like here I feel like I've way more like done me. Because you want to spend time with like those people that you like just really fuck with, and I didn't want to be apologetic for like wanting to do that. I felt like that should have just been okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But then I guess like in other contexts, I've like heard from people that like, oh, in this setting you were being exclusive, but to me that was just like, no, I was just hanging out with my friends.
Yeah, that does happen.
Doing my own thing.
It's weird when like, because one thing that sometimes limits the amount of people you invite is like the number of spots in a car.
Yes.
Sometimes it's like purely like logistical.
It's like it just can't, you know. Like,
and then like gets misconstrued, and like there's so much like almost like politics within groups, because you know like when you have a group of like, I guess like maybe 4 or more, maybe 5 or more, there's always different dynamics. Like not everyone is the same amount of friends. Like it just is like almost. Like you have different friendship with each person, and like to pretend that they're all the same or that they all hold the same place in everyone's life like doesn't respect like individuality.
Yep. I wonder what that's gonna look like when we're outside of college, you know?
Oh yeah, like when you're planning like the big get together somewhere.
Because then it's like,
how many like if we're like, oh, let's go to like Tahoe for the weekend or something.
Yeah, let's go to Tahoe for the weekend.
Is it just like,
who's it gonna be from like college, from high school?
Jesus.
Oh shit. And
that
think about
transition
Ubers
I'm
and
not,
that stuff too.
not quite ready for.
Yeah.
I'm picking another topic from the bowl.
Yes.
Immigrant parents, let's go.
Ooh. We both have immigrant parents.
We both have immigrant parents.
I love my parents.
I love my parents
so much.
And I'm glad, because now, like, I think I had more trouble saying that when I was younger because of the fact that, like, my parents were stricter. I came from a very white suburb town, shout out Hinsdale. But, like, my parents were just different from everyone else's because, like, everyone else's parents weren't immigrants. So, like, when I had curfews, my friends were like, what the fuck is a curfew?
Yes,
and I'm like,
yes, exactly.
My parents want me home at a certain time. When am I supposed to?
What time was your curfew?
It depends, and I honestly broke it more than I actually made it. So my parents, I'm the last born, so they get more lenient. But like my brother, like wasn't allowed to do anything, like no sleepovers, no any, like I had so much leniency, and I definitely abused that. But it's like that shit's hard.
Were way more strict on me than my daughter. I think, or no, than my sister. Not my daughter. I don't have a daughter. I do not have a daughter. Not yet.
Scratch
Definitely
that.
Cut that out. But my sister is way older than me, and they were less strict on her. But I think. But, like, that was more of her being a rebel, and then I, like, saw, like, what happened, and then they were just super strict on me. I had an 8 p.m. curfew. which is insane.
8 p.m.?
8 p.m. curfew that started like sophomore year of high school. And 8 p.m. I was like,
You don't even finish dinner by 8 p.m.
I know.
Like,
I know. I was in the
you're like,
house.
sorry guys, can I just Venmo? You didn't have Venmo back then. Can I just give someone 20? I have to go before the check arrives. Oh God.
It was so bad. It was so hard to work with. Fuck.
And were a lot of your friends' parents, were they?
No.
Yeah.
None of them were immigrants, so they just didn't understand. And then they like started meeting my parents, and they're like, "Your dad is super chill. Like, I don't believe all this shit that you say about like the curfew and like him being like super strict."
Yeah.
I was like, no, trust me. Like,
This shit happens.
it's there.
I mean, I remember like one of the hardest things. Something that you just said reminded me is like sort of just like the difference was the hardest part, and like just like the normalization, because like underage drinking happens a lot, especially in like affluent areas, and like for my parents who like didn't drink, and my mom doesn't even really drink now, but like for my parents who just didn't drink, like they didn't really get that. So like our senior spring break trip, and like I was the only one who didn't have parents there, because like I didn't think my mom was gonna be chill with a bunch of 18-year-olds going to Mexico and like just drinking all day, and all the other parents were like taking shots in the pool with us. And like it came up later with my mom, because she brought up that she was like upset about that she like that I didn't want her there, and she felt that like I didn't love her in that way. And I was like, Mom, I'm like so sorry, because this is when she found out I drank after the summer after senior year. But I was like, Mom, that wasn't it at all. I literally just didn't think you'd be wanting to take tequila shots at 11 a.m. and that was like the point of the trip. And like having that discussion of like these are sort of the norms of American teenagers is like high school drinking was like super different, because she didn't grow up in America. Like she wasn't in high school here. A lot of women don't drink in Nigeria.
Did she know about it and wasn't cool with it, or did she just not know about it?
She knew about it, but she didn't know that I was doing it. And I felt like for her not knowing I was doing it, and then just immediately bringing her to Mexico, Puerto Vallarta for spring was like gonna be way too big of a jump for like, she didn't even know I drank. She knew my friends did, and like people did, and like sort of had that conception, but like I just told her, no, I want to go with Kelly's parents. And like that hurt her feelings, and like I felt so bad about that later, being like, fuck.
Wow. Damn, I kept my parents, like my parents did not know my friends. My friends, like, vaguely knew my parents. Like, they knew what I told them about, but they just, there was, like, no intersection between any of it. And I was like, I'm going to keep this separate so that way I can, like, keep, like, my life at home is, like, the life that I've lived, but also my life with my friends is, like, the time that I'm trying to have, you know, have fun and just enjoy that.
I kept the separation a lot, too, and it sort of helped that, like, I mean, like, a lot of people talk about, like, suburban parents having, like, these, like, gossip cliques, and, like, my mom, like, wasn't a part of that. So I was actually grateful, because then when some big scandal would come around, like, in the high school, like, all the parents would know about it. And if I could just keep my mom away, then, like, we don't have to talk about this shit. But, like, we didn't go to my house that much as far as, like, whenever we were going to a friend's house. Like, I kind of just was always, like even if we weren't even doing, like, we're not doing anything wrong. We're just, like, hanging out. But I'm, like, it still feels like the white family homes are just like have that white family-esque air that there's snacks on the table, like random shit. I'm like, yeah, let's just go to your house. So chill.
And I always be worried about like how my parents like interact with other parents.
Yeah.
You know, like what kind of conversations they talk about and like what that would look like.
Yeah.
Cause I'd always be like off, like be in the corner, like kind of like eavesdropping, like, trying to make sure like no one's saying any shit that I don't want like to be heard. You know.
I actually had a conversation about it the other day, and it was like, I'm super happy about the way I turned out. Like just like. Overall, and that came with like a combination of strict parenting, but then also like me being a rebel and breaking a lot of those rules. But still, I'm like, the strictness definitely is a part of some of my discipline now, and some of my like my motivation to get good grades and like achieve is definitely from my parents. Like seeing them.
Same.
My mom came here, was working at McDonald's, and now owns her own fucking business. She owns a hospice. I'm like, that. How can you grow up with that and not be inspired as fuck to just do more and be better? Like I'm so grateful, but then I'm like, fuck, when I'm a parent, how much immigrant parenting am I going to put in versus, I mean, if my kids see this, I mean, I'm pretty, all my credibility is out the window. I don't think I can really say much.
You can still preach it. No, I'm definitely thankful. I'm so thankful.
I'm so thankful.
I wouldn't change any of it. Honestly, I wouldn't change any of it.
Yeah, looking back, I just wouldn't, because I'm like, if that spanking is what got me here today, then.
It also teaches you how to scheme, you know?
Yeah.
I'm like, sneak around more.
I am really good at lying.
I'm so good at lying. It's insane.
It's like if you have immigrant parents.
Thank you.
If you have immigrant parents, you're either a narc or you're really good at lying. Yeah. That's pretty much the two.
And we're on the other side.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well,
okay.
Fuck yeah. We nailed that one. Where are you guys' parents from? My parents are from Nigeria. Emily asked where our parents are from. My parents are from Nigeria, Lagos to be exact.
And my parents from Eritrea. village called Durko. Yeah.
Amazing. All right, I just picked a new one.
What is it?
Money and socioeconomic status.
This is a hot topic.
I mean, I feel like we have to get more specific
Yeah.
with it, because how can you just talk about money? Do you want to talk about how it plays into like college life? Because
Yeah.
do you know when you're like, oh, let's
Like in what sense though?
go to Coachella,
Okay.
for example.
Yeah.
People sort of talk about that, not casually, like we all
Yeah.
know it's like gonna hit anyone's wallet, but at the same time, like a lot of people could just never even dream of doing that.
Yeah.
And like the way we sort of talk about it, like, oh yeah, we're going to Coachella, like because we're in California, like we don't even think about the fact you're spending almost $1,000 for that entire weekend.
I think I felt that most like freshman and sophomore year. So my my family and me, like low income, come from that kind of household, and then coming to like freshman and sophomore year, especially sophomore year when I joined Signu, everyone was like trying to go like spring break. Let's all buy tickets to go to Iceland. Like let's buy it tonight, or like let's go to Coachella. Let's buy a ticket 2 days before. Like let's
do
A,
A, B, C, and like
let's do
it.
And I'm over there being like, that sounds so sick. Would love to go, but I can't. You know?
I can't.
And I'm not, but I think back then I wasn't comfortable saying that because I had never been in that situation before.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to state the reason why.
Yeah.
But so I'd always like be like, kind of leave the room quietly, kind of just not say anything.
When did you find that voice to say that in a more explicit way? Like, did that come with just feeling more comfortable?
I think it came with feeling more comfortable, but I think it also, and that came with becoming closer to people.
Got it. This maybe goes back to like how to make people feel like they belong, and I feel like especially in college is like trying to do, like, you want to have your fun, you want to do things that like maybe cost more money, like to go. Like we went to Thailand, that was super fun. Love the experience, but also like if it's a problem for someone and you want to be with the group more, you're like, fuck it, let's just road trip to this, or like let's do a more like accessible trip to get the amount, because the homies start to matter more than the experience, and like if you're with good homies, it doesn't matter what you're doing.
And when you go with good homies, you can just feel like you can be more vulnerable and just be more open about it, and it goes hand in hand. Yeah, I think part of it for me also is just like finding, just like honestly just meeting new people that I related more with, and then being like, oh, you're feeling the same way, like that's exactly how I felt. And then after that, it was just like, click, let's go. And it was fine.
I appreciate it, like talking about it in a college town, especially here at Stanford. I feel like because like people are coming from all over the world. Where I know, like a lot of my friends who go to state schools, like most of the people are from like that, from that state. So you have like a certain
the same group.
Yeah,
literally,
you have
like
a
Mizzou,
certain
like the same
understanding of like everything, and then coming here, you're sort of thrown in where they don't even let you pick your freshman roommate because they want to like make the dorm as diverse and different as possible. So like I definitely learned, because from Hinsdale, you almost have to be affluent to live there. So like a lot of the like when it's spring break in Mexico and we have 17 people there, and everyone else is going to every other different tropical location, you don't even think about price.
Yeah.
Which is like just so unrealistic.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do one more.
Take one more.
Yeah.
Trap music. Oh, it's my
You're
favorite
gonna take
genre.
the reins
You know
on
what
this
I
one because
hate
I
so
honestly.
much?
What do you hate?
I love trap so much. It's literally exclusively what I listen to, and I hate getting shit for it. People are always like, oh, you just listen to the most basic music. You don't like listen to like, you just listen to the same things over and over and over again. I'm like, no, it's not true. Like I hear the drums, I hear the bass, but like if you listen to what they're saying the same words but in a different way.
So what does
And it's
trap
all
mean to you?
metaphor.
What does trap mean to you?
Trap for me means litness combined, like in the best most optimal sense. It's like music that you want to jump and dance to and feel hyped about, but it's also music that's telling you something about who's singing it or about like the greater extent of society.
Yeah.
That sounds really deep. But
No, it
like,
doesn't.
But like I would literally listen to like, let's say, Travis Scott, or like even Lil Pump. I don't really like Lil Pump that much, but like listen to like the stuff he says, and it says the most basic words, and you think about it for a second, and you realize it's a metaphor for something else. It's a metaphor for like an addiction, for example.
Yeah.
And like you learn so much about that person. Juice WRLD. Do you listen to Juice WRLD?
No.
Everyone should listen to Juice WRLD. Juice WRLD, I think is just like a great. Damn, Juice WRLD in the future are like prime examples. People are like, this is just shit music. It's terrible. And then you listen to it and you're like, no, wait, I I'm learning something.
Do you have a timeline of trap for me? Because like I don't even think I really know. Like what was growing up, like our generation? What was like in middle school? What is the closest rapper to trap that like?
So I think we gotta separate trap from rap.
Yeah.
Nathan Dale, one of our good friends, taught me what trap actually means. Trap and rap are two different things. But like if we look at the evolution of all of it, for me at least, like my first introduction to rap was Lil Wayne, like Drop the World.
Yeah.
And then Lil Wayne brought Drake into my life through like Miss Me. And then I was like, okay, damn, it's like they're talking about like women in their lives, like about like heartbreaks, and also some like let's get like lit kind of stuff. And then for me, Drake was a constant for like 5 or 6 years. And then Travis Scott came, and then I'm learning about Juice WRLD and Future.
Yeah.
And then I think from Future it started to get to more of like what people consider like bad trap, or just like Lil Pump, Smoke Perp, etc.
Yeah.
Which for me and like XXX, like all those people.
I think like SoundCloud rappers just get the trap.
Just, that's like the representation of trap right now.
Yeah.
I feel like SoundCloud rappers.
That's sort of what I.
You know.
Sort of what I generalize it to, but not really actually. But like, yeah, I was talking about like the evolution because I'm like now I feel like it's almost the reason it has that more negative stigma than it usually does, because people are like those rappers are like just for the show, like they're not here for like they're here for to get followers and get hits and like whatever.
I think it's like J. Cole. It's like J. Cole to Lil Pump, right?
Yeah.
It's like J. Cole's like quality
like Kendrick.
rap. Exactly, and Kendrick, and now it's just like SoundCloud.
Like you don't put that in the same category as Lil Pump. You can't.
Definitely
it feels one feels more artistic, so people are like, oh, you're choosing. Yeah, but like fuck it, like
but
finding
also,
profoundness
like,
and like.
If it makes you feel good, if you enjoy it,
who the fuck cares?
Who cares?
All right, well, we're going to wrap up because we're out of time. But thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed our conversations. Come back next week for more of the same with different things to say. That's sort of what we're doing. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Cool.
Yay!
Yeah, this thing was blinking. It was like 0
No, perfect.
minutes.
That's perfect.
0 minutes. Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Hot as booties.
Oh shit! Sorry.